As the messenger scurried away, Pilate gazed out at the bustling city below. The sun glinted off the golden dome of the temple, a symbol of both faith and rebellion. He felt like a man walking a tightrope, with chaos yawning on either side. Jesus of Nazareth was just another weight, threatening to tip the balance. But Pilate knew, with a growing sense of dread, that this weight was unlike any he had faced before. The centurion, a burly man named Marcus, arrived promptly, his armor gleaming in the afternoon sun. "You summoned me, Governor." Pilate turned, his gaze sharp and assessing. "Marcus, I have a delicate task for you. There is a man, Jesus of Nazareth, causing a stir in Galilee. I want him brought here, to Jerusalem, but quietly, understand. No public spectacle, no bloodshed." Marcus nodded, his expression unreadable. "It shall be done, Governor." Pilate watched him leave, a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. He knew that dealing with Jesus would be like walking through a minefield. One wrong step could ignite the entire region. Meanwhile, in the dusty hills of Galilee, Jesus continued to preach. His words, like seeds carried on the wind, found fertile ground in the hearts of the people. He spoke of compassion, of forgiveness, of a love that transcended earthly boundaries. Crowds gathered to hear him, their faces etched with hope and longing. Among them was a young woman named Mary Magdalene, her eyes filled with tears. She had been cast out by society, branded as a sinner. But Jesus had seen her, not for her past, but for the potential for goodness within her. He had offered her forgiveness, and in doing so, had given her a new life. As Jesus spoke, a group of Roman soldiers approached, led by Marcus. The crowd stirred, a murmur of fear rippling through their ranks. Jesus remained calm, his eyes meeting Marcus's gaze without flinching. "Jesus of Nazareth?" Marcus asked, his voice gruff. "I am he," Jesus replied, his voice gentle but firm. "I have orders to bring you to Jerusalem, to Pontius Pilate." Jesus nodded, his expression serene. "Then let us go." As they made their way towards Jerusalem, word of Jesus' arrest spread like wildfire. Some wept, others cursed the Romans, but all felt a sense of foreboding. They knew that Jesus' fate, and perhaps their own, hung in the balance. Back in Jerusalem, Pilate paced the floor of his chambers, his mind racing. He knew that the Sanhedrin wanted Jesus dead, but he was hesitant to give them what they wanted. He sensed that there was more to this man than met the eye. Perhaps he was a genuine threat to Roman authority, or perhaps he was simply a harmless eccentric. Pilate couldn't be sure. As Jesus was brought before him, Pilate studied him intently. He saw no firebrand revolutionary, no power-hungry demagogue. Instead, he saw a man of peace, a man of unwavering conviction. Pilate questioned him, probing his beliefs, trying to understand the source of his influence. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asked, his voice laced with skepticism. Jesus looked at him, his eyes filled with a strange mixture of pity and understanding. "My kingdom is not of this world," he replied, his voice soft but clear. "If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders." Pilate was taken aback by his answer. He had expected defiance, perhaps even a plea for mercy, but Jesus offered neither. He simply stood there, his gaze unwavering, his silence more powerful than any words. Pilate knew he was facing a dilemma. To condemn Jesus would be to appease the Sanhedrin, but it would also be to betray his own sense that this man was different, perhaps even innocent. The weight of his decision pressed down on him, heavy and inescapable. The seeds of tragedy now sprouting, tension escalated rapidly. Jewish leaders, cloaked in righteous fury, demanded Jesus' crucifixion. They saw him as a blasphemer, a dangerous crack in their religious authority. Pilate, caught in the crossfire, felt the noose tightening. He was torn between maintaining peace and a nagging conviction. Jesus was innocent. He attempted compromise, a delicate dance to appease both sides. But his efforts were futile. crushed by relentless pressure. The Jewish leaders were unyielding, the populace growing restless. Each passing day ratcheted up the stakes. Pilate paced his chambers, the weight of his office pressing down. He muttered to himself, "What is truth?" His advisors warned of full-scale revolt, painting vivid pictures of chaos. Pilate envisioned Roman eagles toppled, streets running red. Fear, a cold serpent, coiled in his gut. He saw his own career, his ambitions, crumbling before him. The choice was stark: sacrifice one man or risk everything. He knew what Rome expected. He summoned Jesus, his gaze searching, probing. He saw no malice, no rebellion, only a quiet strength. Yet, the crowd bayed for blood. Pilate stepped onto the balcony, the roar of the mob washing over him. The air was thick with anticipation and malice. He felt trapped, a puppet dancing on strings of power. He called for water, a servant rushing to obey. With deliberate slowness, he washed his hands, the water turning pinkish in the light. "I am innocent of this man's blood," he declared, his voice barely audible above the din. "See ye to it." The crowd erupted, their bloodlust momentarily sated. The decision was made. He appeased the crowd and ordered Jesus' crucifixion. The soldiers led Jesus away, their faces grim. The deed was done, the die cast. But the image of Jesus, eyes filled with sorrowful understanding, haunted him. Sleep offered no escape, only nightmares filled with jeering faces. He tossed and turned, the weight of his guilt pressing down. Guilt, a relentless tormentor, gnawed at his soul. He tried to bury himself in his duties, but the weight of his decision was crushing. His political career, once so promising, began to unravel. Whispers followed him, accusations muttered behind cupped hands. His superiors in Rome grew wary, their trust eroded. The reports they received painted a picture of incompetence and instability. The man who could not control a minor province. His enemies, sensing weakness, circled like vultures. They saw their chance to strike, to seize power. The emperor, Tiberius, summoned him back to Rome. The summons was a death knell. He knew his fate was sealed. There would be no triumphant return, no accolades. He packed his belongings, the weight of his past heavy in his hands. Each item, a reminder of what he had lost. As he sailed away from Judea, he looked back at the receding coastline. He saw not the land he had governed, but the face of the man he had condemned. His reputation was tarnished, his ambition shattered. Pilate's story became a tragic tale, a man whose political calculations led to his own downfall, and a pivotal moment in history, forever etched in the annals of time. He was a footnote, a cautionary tale whispered in the halls of power, a reminder that even the most pragmatic decisions can have unforeseen consequences, and that sometimes the pursuit of power comes at a terrible price. His name, once synonymous with authority, became a symbol of moral failure, a testament to the enduring power of conscience and the tragic consequences of choosing expediency over justice. His legacy, a dark stain on the tapestry of history, a governor's tragedy, forever remembered, a life undone by a single, fateful choice, the echoes of his decision reverberating through the ages, a haunting reminder of the burden of power and the enduring cost of moral compromise. His name would forever be linked to this act, a symbol of the abuse of authority. His story served as a warning, a life that spiraled into darkness. He was a man who chose power over justice, a decision that would haunt him forever. His name became synonymous with infamy, a cautionary tale for all who seek power, a reminder of the price of compromise and the enduring power of conscience. His legacy, a stain on the pages of history, a governor's tragedy, forever etched in time, a life undone by a single, fateful choice. The echoes of his decision, a haunting melody, a reminder of the burden of power and the enduring cost of moral compromise.